Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the earth, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains, repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy.
Welcome to Second and Class. Remember to accept the next few seconds for greater respect. And
Sing
feel free
joy.
to visit any other
Sing
information.
joy. Sing joy.
Bye.
He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glow of his righteousness.
Hi, everybody.
And wonders of his love.
So,
And wonders
tonight,
of his
we're going to have
love. And wonders of his love.
all the time.
Sing
Warren and me
joy. Sing
about the
Sing
president,
joy. So I'm not even reading the chat right now. I'm standing up coming up to you guys. I hope the music's not too loud and you can hear me over the music, but we're going to be talking about what I think is going on in the world right now. And you see the green color of my headphones. Well, Nintendo very free. We're going to put that together. I don't want to say the name to
help me find who my baby will be.
We're going to go ahead and say Master
Santa, tell me when you
1989
show yourself to me. Help me find who my baby will be tonight. That's all I need.
Anyway,
somebody that I'm lonely
can
somebody I can give up time and rain. Someone in this puzzle who can be my missing piece. You know I don't need anything else this Christmas Eve. Just want someone to be with the shining tree. Hear the sleigh bells ring and the caroling. Under the mistletoe, under the moonlight, we can take it slow. I can be your only guide. Don't need to think twice when I got you by my side. With you, everything feels just right. Didn't want to admit that I needed this wish. I know you got a lot on your list, but all I'm asking is Santa, tell me when you show yourself to me. Help me find who my baby will be. Santa, tell me when you show yourself to me. Help me find who my
lot
tonight,
during coming to
tonight,
communicate to you guys when stuff is going on.
tonight. Without anyone to hold.
I ended up
And this Yuletide season's not meant to be
so
alone.
hard for me to keep up.
I really wanna believe
I was
you
also a
got
moderator
plans for me.
and the song that brought me to their church was a song called Rattle, which
Santa, tell me
talked about
when
Easter,
you
about
show yourself to
I,
me.
you know,
Help me
but
find who my baby will be.
right? Because he wasn't doing anything wrong.
Santa, tell me
Maybe I
when
could do
you
this
show
So
yourself
why?
to me. Help me find who
Why?
my baby will be. Who my baby will
And
Santa, tell me when you show yourself to me. Tell me.
trying to get ahead like camel went dive.
Baby, who my baby will
Gaining resources
be
by the exploitation of others to gain those resources.
tonight.
So that's why this ties into the man, the Nintendo character. You know, not Mario, but the other guy. And because what he did, he shouldn't have done. But what he did, a lot of people don't understand.
Dear Santa, tell me that you'll make it here in time. Yeah, this boy is on my mind. The number one thing on my wish list. Oh, Santa, tell me, you know that I've been good. Put the lights up just for you.
A Bible that I think you guys see, Psalm 13, 5, 8. And I'm going to
All the morning kisses and praise. Maybe it's crazy, but he makes it feel like Christmas every day. Dear Santa, hurry through this birthday winter night. He starts up a Christmas tree.
All right. So, as I was saying, now that we had the little holiday music and you guys are coming in here and seeing what we're talking about, Psalm 13:5 through 13:8. Because the poor are plundered, the needy groan. I will now arise, says the Lord. I will protect them from those who malign them. And the words of the Lord are flawless, like silver purified in a crucible, like gold refined 7 times. You, the Lord, will keep the needy safe, and you will protect us forever from the wicked, who freely strut about. You can think of whoever you want as wicked, right now. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on. Just you can decide. You can picture somebody who freely strut about when what is vile is honored by the human race. Okay, getting money from doing insurance is celebrated when it causes people to die and lose health care coverage and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of what Elon wants to do. He's got more money than anybody in the world, and he wants to take away stuff from the rest of us. So think about that before you do stuff. And I'm going to put on the chat here in a minute so I can see what you guys are saying. That's from the NIV Foundation's study Bible. So I'll get you another word here. All right, let me see and open up the chat so I can see you guys. All right. So, what happened when I went to those mental hospital 3 different times is there was going to be a fourth time. And remember, there's a band called Tesla, okay? And you should listen to some of their songs. It's not the car brand, it's the band Tesla. This is a rock and roll ministry, okay? So you're going to have to take notes on these songs that I give you. And the song Separate Ways by Journey, picture that song being sang to you from the point of view of God. Because on the fourth time when I was going to go, they didn't accept me in. I ended up wandering off and getting lost for hours. But I kept going up to houses that had Christmas lights. And nobody offered to help me at the houses that had Christmas lights. So it was a performative gesture to do that. And what happened that night? Well, I ended up finding a weed store that was open and had a couch and was warm and safe. And that's all I wanted to be, was back home, warm and safe. And there I was, and some people came in and they talked to me for a minute. And then I picked up a card so I could remember where I was at. And then I thought I was going to get in trouble for being in there. So I tried to give them their card back so they know I, wouldn't say anything about being in there, because I didn't have any money to buy anything. And they ended up pushing me down on the floor and twisting my leg. And then I went outside, and the 3 guys that I had talked to, they jumped me and sidekicked my knee and ended up breaking my knee. And in that moment, I said, Jesus, please help me. And I stumbled down the street with a knee that was, the bone was completely broken apart. So my lower leg was all messed up, but I had been kicked and all that stuff. And I go to this car, and this black gentleman's in his car. And I say, please just, I understand if you can't be here. And why did I say that? Because of how America is and how it treats other people. And it's not right. But I said, I understand if you can't stay here, but I need you to please call me an ambulance because I'm not going to make it. It was very, very cold. It was very, very wet. And people that live in Washington can tell you when it rains, it gets very, very, very wet and very, very, very cold. So I was lying on the sidewalk, which lying on concrete takes your heat away faster. And my legs were sticking out in the street because it was the only way that I could keep it from hurting, because it was basically, it would move on its own. And I don't know how long it was after that, but a fire truck pulled up and some firemen hopped out, and they put me in front of the diesel engine that was on the fire truck. And I talked about how I was a truck driver, and I appreciate how warm diesels could be. And then the ambulance finally came, and they picked me up and they took me to the hospital. And I'm lucky that I have Medicare. If I didn't have Medicare, I would have been really screwed. I have it because I have hereditary spastic health care. And so I'm sorry if I'm bringing politics into this stuff. This is real life. This is why Luigi happened to do what he did, because there's millions of people out there that are just like me, and are going to struggle if something happens. But why do I call it a rock and roll ministry? Well, in that moment where I was finally taken to the hospital and I had an MRI and all that stuff, I thought about how horrible it would be if something like happened to Mount Rainier one day. How horrible that would be for humans. And that's a natural disaster. It's not like, in my personal opinion, it's not like God controls natural disasters. There's scientific process. The only thing that I think God did was snapped his fingers and created light, because that's the first part of the Bible. He says, "Let there be light." And why is it rock and roll ministry? Well, I think people like Neil Peart of Rush are prophets. They were able to see things. And Jeff Tate of Queensryche was able to see things. So I'm going to give you, these songs like Tom Sawyer by Rush, like Spirit of Radio by Rush, and Subdivisions by Rush. You need to go and really listen to those songs and think about Luigi and start expanding your mind, because people aren't noticing it, but there's graffiti about Luigi out there. They were chanting his name. You probably didn't see that on the news. They're trying to hide it all from you, because if everybody decides to say, "Hey, wait a minute, we can all stick together. We can all make changes," like going to a place like Winco instead of going to other grocery store because it's employee owned, and going to local small businesses and getting stuff that you need to get. Helping out your neighbor. That's one of the biggest things of Jesus, was helping out your neighbor. He said, "Welcome the immigrants." He didn't say toss them out in the cold. Like the biggest one that always got to me that they never teach in church was about how when Jesus went to church and there were people changing money in church, that he flipped the tables over and started to get a whip out and started whipping people. That was Jesus. So now you know why they wanted to get rid of him, because his message was, hey, we should all take care of each other. We should all be nice to each other. We should feed each other. When he turned to the loaves of fish and bread and, stuff like that, where I don't understand how some people who claim to be Christian can not actually read the red words in the Bible. You got to look at the red words in your Bible. The rest of the Bible is nice allegories and stories of how you should live your life, but the only words that should count if Jesus is the Son of God. And we're talking about Jesus because not only was Jesus the Savior of, a lot of people, but he was also Jewish, and Christmas and Hanukkah started on the same day. So it's the 12 days of Christmas this year. So when we have Jesus, when I cried out for him, it felt like he came down and touched me and let me know it was going to be okay. And that's why I told you about journeying separate ways. There's a different story I'll tell you guys at a later time that involves one of my friends, but that's a story for another day. I don't know how long I'm going to talk. I'm going to try to talk for an hour. I'm not really looking down at the chat or anything, but we're going to do that. I'm waiting to get a desk to actually be able to sit down and have a setup. And I'm going to eventually have to get a PC so that I can, I have a laptop right now, but I need a more powerful PC and multiple monitors so that way I can actually run the production. I'm doing the best I can right now with StreamYard. There's a link for StreamYard in there. The songs you heard at the start were by Epidemic Sound. That's somebody that you can buy a license from, and any of the songs on there, use them in your videos. So if you're a creator and you want music for your videos, you can go see. There's a link on my channel for that. All those links do is just give me free time. So if you have a channel and you want to do that stuff, all it does is give me, a month free or stuff like that. So it helps out grow my ministry that I'm trying to start here with you guys and talk to you guys about what I think God, talk to people through inspiration, divine inspiration. You can call it serendipity. I don't care what you call it. I'm just asking you to believe that there's something higher power out there altogether, because it's just too uncanny. And what do I mean by that? Well, there was a Howard Stern interview that he did with Chris Cornell. And Chris Cornell talked about how just the whole tune for Black Hole Sun came to him while he was driving a car. Okay, just came to him out of the blue. Now, I've played guitar and stuff like that, but I never, had necessarily a divine inspiration of a song come into my head. Um, but I've had songs divinely inspire me now. That's kind of where we're going. Um, but in that interview, he said that, right? Now, I signed up for the military after 9/11 happened, and I happened to go to see Chris Cornell on in Seattle, and it happened to be the same day that Bin Laden was killed. Just whoop, that coincidence. And my brother was an Afghan vet, but just that coincidence. Okay, just that coincidence. And why do I say that? Where it's kind of a weaving of knowledge into me with the songs and this rock and roll ministry is because Chris Cornell, as you know, he ended his life. And my channel, when I was monetized and when I was getting ad revenue, half the revenue went to the suicide prevention hotline, which gives people a place to call if they need somebody to talk to. And I have to say that I'm still going to do that once the channel is monetized again, because I want people to have people to talk to. But I've also found communities here on YouTube that are great. Shout out to Tom Grossi and the Grossi Posse. Being there, having somebody to talk to, and the Discord server is great. And because of that, I decided to start my own Discord server. That link is in the channel description. You can go there, and you'll always have however many people join it. There'll always be somebody in there to talk to, and you can talk about whatever you want. I want people to have a free exchange of ideas. And so whether you're a guy that supports Trump or a gal that supports Trump, or you're a person that supported Kamala for president or any of the other candidates for president, I want us to all be able to come in there and discuss, but be respectful to each other, because we have more problems with people at the top taking opportunity and money away from all of us through either not paying us enough wages or not enough services coming back from the government because they're not getting enough revenue from the people at the top. Back in the 1950s, when everybody wants to go back to, the tax rate was 90% of the top, and it kept people a lot closer in income. And now you have people that live such vastly different lifestyles that it's hard to reconcile reality. And that goes back to Luigi. Why is it that when he does that, all of a sudden it's, all these charges, they should be applied also to people like school shooters and all that kind of stuff. Like, the people that have all the wealth are very, very scared of that happening, and I understand why. And so I'm trying to bridge the gap between the two groups so that they understand and come to an understanding of what's going on. And maybe it's through football that I could do that, because football is the one thing in America that's basically our religion. And it's like God gave it to us. He said, okay, humans need a little bit of violence, a little bit, in order to get out their anger or their aggression or whatever. And so when you're a fan of one team, you can pick on the people of the other team. But in the end, it's nothing serious because it's just a game of football. But it allows you to get out those aggressions and angers you might have. So now the Bible that I think you should get, because it's easy to understand. It explains where each verse of the Bible comes from and explains its history. It's called The Message. You can find it on Amazon. That's where I got it. And I've been highlighting different passages of the Bible, both this one and the other one I have. But this is also a psalm. And it's Psalm 27, 13 through 14. I'm sure now I'll see God's goodness and in the exuberant earth. Stay with God, take heart, don't quit, and I'll say it again, stay with God. And so you might go, well, what does that have to do with what you're doing and what you're talking about right now? Well, my brother also was having episodes, and my sister was having episodes, and a bunch of people around me I know are having sleep problems and insomnia, and it all goes back to the amping up of our adrenaline that we get off of our cell phones. We're getting addicted to our cell phones psychologically. If your phone dings, you'll immediately reach for it. And so once we're addicted to our phones, when you have different apps, whether you're, could do betting or whatever, people can get hooked on that. And so there needs to be some sort of controls that you can place on those things to limit the amount that you spend. It's the responsible thing to do. I don't take that lightly saying that. It's just something that I see as important to let you guys know. Um, but there's a channel that I want you to check out. It's called Walking with Moss. It's a local channel up here. And I had somebody close to me recommend that channel. And it's about foraging for food because, hey, if things go crazy, you're going to have to learn how to forage for food. And that's why I put out that short that I have. If you want to check it out, I'll be having a handheld CB radio. I'd recommend getting one of those because Canada already said we'll cut off your electricity if you try to play hardball. And, the guy with the orange face said, I don't start no wars. And he's already trying to start wars with Panama and Mexico and Canada and Greenland. But I want to thank Canada for Rush, for Nilport, because he was a prophet. And he was able to open my eyes and see what's happening. So I'm looking over there because I wrote down some notes. When we talk about Luigi, you need to listen to the album Operation Mindcrime, and then you need to listen to the song Empire afterwards. And you'll see both of those play together, as well as Metallica and Justice for All, where they state halls of justice painted green, money talking. Okay? In the start of Empire, he says, last night, word came down, 10 dead in Chinatown. Innocent now of their crime was being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Too bad people say, what's wrong with the kids today? I tell you right now, they've got nothing to lose. They're building empire. Okay? Think about how everybody just moves on after they're shooting somewhere, right? So they saw something coming up that it was getting by everybody else, but he, opened his eyes. And if you listen to the song Revolution Calling on Operation Mindcrime, it talks about how you can't trust everybody because they're crooks, because they see the payoffs everywhere they look. That brings me to Kennedy Center Honors and the song Stairway to Heaven, which was done by Ann and Nancy Wilson, who are of the band Heart, who are out of Seattle. Okay? And why do I bring that up? Well, my dad was behind Kennedy at the Berlin Wall when he gave a speech. He was in the Berlin Bugle Corps. I asked for pictures from the Kennedy Library. I have those pictures in my email. So, I bring that up because Obama was also at that Kennedy Center homage. And it feels like that was a moment in time of a confluence of events where rock and roll and the timeline merged together. At least that's how I view it in my view. And yes, I have taken my meds today. Before anybody goes, this guy needs meds. Yes, I take my meds. So I've just been waiting the 4 days since the anniversary of Pearl Harbor, because this is an AI Pearl Harbor. If you want a song to reference, you can look up Ozzy Osbourne, Killer of Giants, or Def Leppard, War Gods. Um, and I got all this through having silent lucidity, okay? If you open your mind for me, you won't rely on open eyes to see. You just take what I'm saying to heart. Anyway, so when I was able to go to the hospital and I was able to come back and be home and be safe and warm, I withdrew from YouTube because it was too much seeing all the prayers of people in the chat and not being able to do anything about it. And when I would do interviews on people, I would spend hours and hours and hours researching them, looking for other interviews they did, all to make sure that I could ask them questions that they hadn't been asked before. So when you see that I have 148 episodes, understand that that's hundreds, if not thousands, of hours that I spent researching on top of doing all the church stuff. Gosh, I almost am going for half an hour now. I'm sweating and fucking getting worked up, and I'm sorry for swearing, but you know, I am a dudist. I don't think swearing's that bad, but anyway, I didn't swear until 25 minutes in. I'm getting a 12th man flag because we're going to talk about football here. I've got this 12th man Seahawks stuff here, and I've got a throwback Seahawks jersey because I like to talk about the storylines of the NFL, not the stats. I don't know the stats that well, but I like a good story. And I like good storylines. So we'll be talking about that a lot. Once I can play more music, I'll be doing that. And I'm going to go ahead and sit down now and see if anybody's in there chatting. I hope somebody is, but we're going to sit down and actually relax in a chair. All right. I don't see anybody in the chat. That's okay. I have Nightbot, and there's a way to set up Nightbot so that you can have maybe it's in private chat actually. Oh well, I'll take a look at that later. Let's see. Put my other glasses on now so I can see what's going on here. All right. She's locked up. Anyhow, there we go. I know this stuff sounds kind of crazy to you guys, and trust me, it's kind of crazy to me. But it's like in Ozzy Osbourne Crazy Train. He said, crazy, that's how it goes. Millions of people living as foes. Maybe it's not too late to learn how to love and forget how to hate. Ava Potterfield, I see in here, Roy and Becky's Travels. A lot of people that were already mods are still mods. Construction Cronies is in here. That's awesome to see. I'm looking at the chat now so I can see you guys. I hope you can hear me and I'll hear what I'm going on. But this has been my testimony and my belief in God and my belief in Jesus because I cried out when he was there. And what got me back into going to God was a song called Rattle by Elevation Worship. And it's a rock song. And it drew me back into church and drew me back into reading the Bible. And so I could see what was going on. And when January 6th happened, that's when my first break happened because we're fighting with each other. And why are we fighting with each other? Because a man named Steve Bannon and a man named Michael Flynn, who Michael Flynn worked in Defense Intelligence, ran an operation to get people riled up to attack a Capitol because of an election. Did anybody run and attack anybody in the Capitol this time? No. What's the difference? They're winding people up. And it's breaking my heart because people actually love each other. They used to love each other in this country. We used to have differing opinions and we could go and still shake hands and have a nice day. And now everybody's tearing each other apart at the seams. And I I just want that to end. It's been my video. You can see the video that's pinned as my videos, Christmas video, is just telling people to give each other forgiveness. You know, go and talk to each other, talk to your family that you haven't talked to, talk to your friends that you haven't talked to, and just start a dialogue with each other. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you guys, but that's where I'm at. And you know, I know some of you might not be believers, and that's fine. I'm not trying to convert you. I could just tell you my story and what happened and why I've been gone, and I'm glad to be back now. I'm so glad to be back, and I've got a tablet now that I've been working with. It's a Samsung tablet. I can do editing of, and that's why I have the video at the start where it was saying it's starting up and all that kind of stuff, because I was able to do that, and I used Canva for that. So if you're looking for a program for that, the other video was made with WeVideo. I don't have links for those. It's just I'm telling you resources that if you want to make a YouTube, because YouTube is the one place where it's you making the content, where it's you controlling the message and not somebody else, not a big owner or you know, a lot of companies and stuff like that. And I don't want us to end up in a civil war situation again. You know, that's a song by Guns N' Roses as well. So I hope you've been taking notes on the songs that I'm giving you. And Construction Cronies is from Canada. And I think Canada's freaking awesome, man. His channel, you need to go check out his channel. I'm going to follow him for tips to set up my studio, because I'm going to be streaming again, guys. I'm going to be doing it all the time. I'm going to be talking to you guys. So let me pull him up on the screen here. There you go. Construction Cronies. Now I don't have PayPal anymore, but I did. But I think you can still tip there if you want. And there's a Cash App. But I'm not asking for money for anything other than, like I said, that would go for charity. So that's how I roll things. And you guys know that, and you guys have been around. I appreciate everybody that came here for Christmas, and I appreciate you listening to my Christmas story of what we forget about Jesus. It was his heart for all of us humans, that he willingly let himself be sacrificed in order to give us a better life, of what he thought. And maybe that's what Luigi did. Maybe Luigi knows this is what's going to happen to him, but he did it to change how the system works, and so that we all get a better deal. Like Franklin Roosevelt, he had polio, and people are talking about not taking vaccines for polio. We had a president in a wheelchair because of polio, and now we're talking about not taking vaccines. We got bird flu going around right now. As in the Seattle Zoo, there's bird flu. And people are talking about drinking raw milk. Well, you're going to get sick. And I don't know how to, inform you guys other than to tell you that there's propaganda coming from so many countries on so many different platforms that are trying to make people hurt themselves or hurt each other in order to make them win. And that's why we need to support places like Ukraine, because Putin's not going to stop you through Ukraine. He's just going to keep going country after country after country after country, and then we're going to have another D-Day where we send soldiers out. And if you want to know more about that kind of stuff, you can go check out a channel called Habitual Line Crosser, HLC. Go check him out. He does funny skits where he's each country and they talk smack to each other, but you'll at least be informed of what's going on. And if you didn't see it, there's an article that just came out for the son of Blackbird, the SR-72. So if Russia thinks that it's going to stop a Mach 6 plane, they might want to think again. And thank you for the titanium again, Russia. We really, really, really appreciate it. While you've been trying to fund your war machine, you've been helping us build ours. Anyway, that's stuff that I have to get out and say, because we'll see that I talk about a place called Counter Social, You guys need to sign up there because there's countries that are IP banned that they can't get in there and have bots. So I'm on there and I've been posting songs and talking about this stuff for a little while. You need to make a profile there if you want to have social media because it's safe from propaganda bots. I donated to them. I donated to Ukraine. I donated to St. Jude's. I donated over $2,000 this Christmas to different causes, from hunger, like I said, to Ukraine, to St. Jude's through Tom Grossi. I donated 1,000 there. And Tom Grossi was NFL Fan of the Year last year. And he set up a whole Discord, and I was able to talk to people. And I'm trying to, that's why I put my own Discord out there, and I've got to get the Discord from Construction Cronies so I can get in there and get it and hit a Discord too. And that's why I'm glad I still have memberships to a lot of you guys and have you as mods. So I don't know all the new commands for Nightbot, but we're going to figure that out because one of the commands is able to let people drop links to their own channel. So once I know how to do that, it'll work. Speaking of another channel you need to check out, it's called The Charismatic Voice. She does great things and teaches you how to use your voice more effectively. So if you guys can tell I'm speaking a little bit better and a little bit more clear, it's because I've learned how to work the muscles in my throat to talk a little bit better than I used to be able to talk. So I appreciate her, and then the songs that she put up there and the way that she goes through them and goes through the lyrics and all that kind of stuff, it sparked memories in me, like of listening to Clyde Lewis on K-Bear 101 FM in Salt Lake City, where he would talk about the different things that are going on that may all be connected. So anyway, it's been a hard thing for me. And my last thing is America should legalize it and tax it. Do you know how much tax money we can make? The tax state here makes a lot of tax money. And I don't care about that part because that helps the state that I live in be able to have roads and schools and all that kind of stuff. And if we legalize it nationally, we could have a windfall of tax dollars that doesn't have to raise taxes on the rich people in America. And it's better than opioids. If you want to know somebody that I'm not too happy with, what about the Sackler family that got everybody hooked on opioids and are just free as a bird and have tons of money still? You know, let's think about that. You know, where weed just grows and helps me with my pain and my spastic paresthesis. So that's why I smoke. I don't smoke to sit here and get stoned and high and giggle. I smoke so that my back doesn't hurt because I have more bulging discs in it. So that's why I couldn't go travel in a van. It got too difficult for me to move around in the van, and so I couldn't do that and be expected to still film videos. So that's why all that happened. So it's been a lot to let out and tell you guys everything that's been going on with me and why I believe what I believe, but it was important for me to do. And so my hope and my prayer is you'll come back again. I'm going to be trying to do this at 9 o'clock every night, and we'll talk about different things that are going on in the news or sports, or we'll have a guest on and talk. And also, we'll probably play some music at the start, and I won't be talking. We'll just be playing music. And I'll find some good songs on Epidemic. And if you want Epidemic for your videos, you can use those songs. And that's, a shout out to Cody Francis, who there's an interview of, and also Troubadour I have an interview of. And in his song, It'll Be All Right. That's my theme song. If you listen to the words of that song tonight, before you go to bed, you'll understand how much that song touched me. So anyway, that's all I've got for now. I love all you guys in the chat. I love you for being here on Christmas and spending Christmas with me and let me share my Christmas message to you guys. And remember that called The Present because it's a gift. And I'll leave you with Time by Pink Floyd. And we'll do more rock and roll ministry later on. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later.